All right, so we had a do now this morning, and it asked you a number of things to do, or questions it asked you, or tasks you had to do. All right, so let's go ahead and go over it and see where you stood in terms of getting answers correct, where you needed clarity. Remember, if this video doesn't give you clarity, you can always reach out to me and ask further questions, okay? Message me, email me, whatever, all right? So let's go ahead and take a look here. So the first thing we talked about before all this virus stuff happened is that as opposed to going up here and start reading this part, we were going to go ahead and actually look and see what it was asking us to do, or asking us to, telling us a task or a question it was asking us. All right, so let's go over here and let's see. Well, we have a task here, number one. It says write an equation that describes the relationship between H and T. H and T. Inches and T. I guess I don't see T down here, but I guess that would be the T here. So let me put a small T to represent that. So T. All right, we understand that's time, and let's go ahead and put the word months there. All right, so we have that. And then it asks us a question. So it gives us a task to do for the first one, okay, write an equation. And the next thing it does, it says that it actually asks us a question. So it says, after how many months will the bamboo plant be 66 inches tall? And then even though it says two things here, it actually asks us three things because it says explain or show your reasoning. So there are about three things we have to do here, all right? So we know that. Let's go and look at the actual challenge here. What does it want us to do here? So I'm going to go ahead and erase these so I'm not caught up in the mix with that. And then go up here. So it says the graph. Wait, oh, that's the eraser. So it says the graph. Oh, wait, what's a graph? If we remember from trade talk, we remember that a graph is a line that has been placed upon the coordinate plane. So a line graphed upon the coordinate plane. You see the line right here. So let me go ahead and erase that. So now we know. So it says the graph shows the inches in, the height in inches. So that's right here, height in inches of a what? Okay, well, bamboo plant at the T months. And that's down here. Looks like T months. So that's why here we have that. T months after it has been planted. So what's the relationship here? It looks like the amount of months this bamboo plant's been growing to the actual height it's going to get. All right, so the first thing it says, let me erase this and focus my energy attention on the first question or challenge here. So it says, write an equation that describes the relationship between H and T, okay, between the height and the time and the months to go by. All right, so first thing I notice is that this line doesn't start the point of origin. So if it doesn't start the point of origin, that lets me know which equation I can't use. Can't use the constant proportionality equation. It's not proportional relationship, okay? What do you mean it's not proportional relationship, Ms. T? Well, because it looks like what happens is that when they finally start tracking this bamboo plant here, they start tracking it when it's already how many inches? It looks like about 12 inches. So let's say 12 inches in height, right? So it's 12. All right. So that's the reason why we can't use that one. So what do we fall back onto? By now you should know our slope intercept form. All right. So we know that this represents this right here. This B represents our y-intercept. No movement on the x, and it's going to strike somewhere on the y. Remember that B means any number. And any number in this situation looks like I said 12. It's all right. So we have our 12. And it's positive. You look over the line, it's positive. All right. So then remember, bring down our x. Now we need to get our slope. So what's going to be our slope here? All right, well, triangle time. So I'm going to go to where those lines are perpendicular there. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. I'm going to stop here. Why? Because I noticed that if I go up here, Oh, wait. Oops. Your boy's incorrect. Sorry. Let me erase it, go back. All right. So I made a mistake there. So let's go here. Keep going, keep going. I'm going to stop here. And we know so if you go up here, that I got a right triangle. All right. So we have a right triangle. Okay. So let me go ahead and set up my fraction bar. All right. So remember, it's rise over run. That's a rise over run. So let's go over here and do some increment counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 increments. And actually, let's just go ahead and make the rise over run here be larger. So 5 increments here. And the increments are the values of 1. Okay, so cool. So 5. And let's go here. How many increments up here? So 1, 2, 3 increments. But notice these increments are values of what? Of 5. Notice 15, 20, 25, and 30. So then we have increments of 3 increments with a value of 5. And that's going to give you 15. So we could, if we wanted to keep it in ratio format, we could simplify by the greatest common factor and add how many sets of 5 are in 15? There are 3. How many sets of 5 are in 5? There are 1. So ratio form. Maybe you're more of a wind-up person. You put the 3 there. Okay. When you do the wind-up, the resulting answer would be 3. Okay. So we know that the rise over run here in its simplest form in unit rate is actually going to be 3 over 1. So let's go do some erasing here. Erase that, there, erase. And let's just get a nice clean equation here from all this. All right, so let's go. Y equals 3x plus 13. Why the 13? Remember, because that's where the plant, we start actually measuring the growth of the plant when it is 13 inches. Why the 3? Remember, the rise over the run, when we simplified it, became 3 over 1. And so there's our equation. The starting date when we started measuring, when it was 13, not 13 inches, I apologize. It was 12 inches, so let's erase that. Not 13, so let's go here. It was actually 12 inches, so 2 there. All right, so then we have that. So where did it start? When it was 12 inches, starting when we started measuring, and then we started having proportional growth from there. And what was the unit rate? Remember, it was for every 1 month, that bamboo is going 3 inches. All right. And so let's go ahead and erase. And so that's why we have the equation, the slope-intercept form equation we have. So go back, take a look at that. If you don't understand why we have y equals 3x plus 12, go back and rewind this, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video, and then we're going to go ahead and answer the second question. And then while we're answering that question, we'll actually explain our reasoning as well. All right.